What's happening, gamers? Welcome back to King Come Delivery.
Uh, Probably should have loaded in first, huh? I thought I was being good about that. It's been a little over a week. Had a long week. Like, I don't know, I had like six days in a row, followed by one day off, and then a couple more days. So, like, it was rough for me. Someone was used to doing bursts of 2 to 3, 4 at most. And it was a fucking scorcher. Air conditioning units in the building weren't up quite yet. Not a good time, not a good time. But we are back to King Come Delivery. What happened last time? What, did we do the priest party last time? I think that's what we did. And then we did like a training montage for an hour. We found the treasure. We can hunt more treasure. We got like side questing to do today, as well as looking for this Riki fella in the Ledechko, I think it was. Still gotta steal this illuminated book with that pesky guardsman. We could train more, but I'm willing to try my hand against an actual enemy now. I probably want to start off with a treasure hunt. We also have, like, the courtship quest we can do to improve our speech a bit. Never turned on my headphones, did I? No? No, there's just no background music. It's weird. We good. How are we on starvation? 75%, we're good. Their active perk for not starving for like 3 days straight or whatever. Wow, it is night. It is night. A little bit beforehand. And maybe we should go look at a map or something. You like maps? You like maps here? Ancient map 1. What we got? Neuhof, the river going across. There's Rattay. And so just cross the river just below Neuhof at the delta. I think that's what you call a split in a river like that. Like more than a fork, it's a delta, you see. Above a shack by a grave of sorts. So between two shacks. See what we can find. Here's Neuhof. Here's the delta, I guess. It could be a bit further up. I'm not sure, but I think this seems like a bet right here. I'll cross-reference that again. The river is nowhere in sight, or the lake, I mean. So I think it's probably somewhere above this, actually. Like, I don't know, maybe around here-ish. Here's probably the house that's on the map, and here might be the other house, so we're looking around here. Alright, we're gonna head that way. If only we could see. Let's see, I finished Cyberpunk, so we'll talk about that soonish. I made an Annie list account, which is like a newer, more streamlined replacement for my anime list. So I'll probably put a link to that in my Twitch profile somewhere. Yeah. Keep track of what I've been watching and how my general feeling was of it. not doing like in-depth reviews of the shows, but like I picked the rating system that's like sad face or smiley face. So like you can tell what I enjoyed, which is probably most of what I watch. And you can see why I hated enough to drop or whatever. But that's going to help me keep track of what I still need to talk about or whatever. So I have an updated list of stuff we can still talk about later. I think I'm riding along the river still, but oh boy, we just lost the road. Yeah, we are going the totally wrong direction. Holy shit. My bad. Thought none of this looked familiar. It's because you've never been out in this direction. I'm pretty sure these ancient treasure maps are to get us the warhorse armor. Like, we just had them from the beginning. So it's probably going to be something I can't even wear, but I'd like to get it anyways, because it's probably going to look cool. We've been wearing the warhorse gamberson the whole time, or whatever it's called. Body garment. Oh, it is a gamberson, nice. I don't know, it has a nice little embroidery of the studio logo on it. It's a nice white color. I'd like to think that the rest of the armor is also a very clean looking white. Like the virgin plate and outward. Oh, speaking of outward, the definitive edition just came out. Which is basically an update that better integrates the expansions. Two expansions. No, we... Tell you what, we are... We're just gonna read until the sun comes up, because I keep making wrong turns. I have no idea where I'm going, and it's not fun. What was I saying? Right, so the first DLC, especially the Soroborians, was supposed to be like a part of the original game. They just ran out of time. So it actually introduced like another faction you could side with to get to an ending, as well as new features like enchanting. The Virgin Plate came from there. You're supposed to enchant it. It turns into unique armors when you do. As well as like corrupt radiation zones, which really would have made sense to have been all over the map from the beginning, but they were only in the DLC area. Stuff like that has been re-implemented throughout the whole game, added more fist weapons and stuff for another new feature of it, and stuff like that just all over redistributed. They added unique boss fights to all the dungeons that were kind of empty feeling before, as well as unique loot. Made enchanting a bit less finicky to do. Lots and lots of good stuff. I had a very good time playing that game with my brother, and I intend to go back. Because it has local split-screen co-op, and that's kind of the best thing. Kinda tough, though, and like there's no traditional leveling, it's all very skill-based. Takes some getting used to, but I think that's a very rewarding thing, and there's plenty of shenanigans to be had when you're playing with a friend. In the Frankish lands, there lived a man whose legs were crippled. In his dreams, there appeared to him a man attired in a white robe who urged him thus: "Get up and go to the city of Prague and the cathedral of St. Vitus. There lies body, blessed martyr Wenceslas, where your health shall be restored." Where the man ignored this, the man in white robe appeared to him and said, "Why have you not heeded me, and gone, that you might walk again?" And he, besides his wits, did answer, "Willingly, I go, sir." And leaning on his cane, went to some merchants who were getting ready to go there and paid them, and with help came to the named place. And there in the church of the two saints he threw himself onto the flags before, and with long prayers, weeping, begged our Lord to have mercy on him for the sake of Saint Wenceslas. And no sooner did he stand up from prayer, by divine grace his knees were firmed, and he gave thanks to God and blessed Wenceslas, by whose intercession the Lord deigned to heal him. When the glory and renown of this and other such miracles of sacred martyrs spread far and wide, there were those who tempered to take the remains of the sacred body to keep for themselves or give to their loved ones. There were those who acted by goodwill in name of the martyr be spoken in all the provinces. But when those ill-willed or out of covetousness tried to do so, they soon stumbled to vengeance. At that time, the saint's own sister, Bratislava, as far as the human eye can judge, living beneath sacred veil, did get embroidered in such things. Her accomplice. All these spelling errors are kind of pissing me off. Like, I'm already not great at reading, but come on. They're not spelling errors, you have dyslexia, but you know what I mean. In a matter of being the priest of St. Stephen's Church, by those the church was a pilgrim who they took to saintly, whose bad advice was heeded to the deed. To make a short tale of it, taking him with them on an appointed night, they made him a party to their unfortunate deed. Disinheriting the sacred body, they began their desecration, for the priest's son did disrespectfully handle the jaw of the saintly remains and pulled it out. This they wrapped in a cloth and covered the rest of the body again with earth. From the relic they took, they kept what share they wanted and distributed the rest among their friends, but soon the wrath of God descended on them. However, since it is known this happened recently and is abundantly familiar, I regard this as superfluous to put in the account. I only write down that sudden and unexpected deaths surprised them, and they departed from the world. So, a guy was crippled, and he went to pray at a saint's body, which was like the attraction of the church, so you would make a pilgrimage there. So he could try and walk again, and the guys he traveled with freaking stole a jaw from the body, and they got cut down by God. As Johnny Cash foretold. Crap, I didn't mean that. I want, like, a skill book. Do I not have any? School of St. Nicholas, maybe? There we go. Friction is a phenomenon that arises when one body in motion is close contact with another body. The work necessary to overcome friction mainly creates heat. What? Is that what we call it, heat, when we get caught doing a crime? Get up. Coolio. I can put away my book. The book probably sells her stuff, but we're collecting things. Alright, so our goal was like over here-ish. That's the plan, and apparently you get reading experience or even looking at maps, so we're gonna open it again. Alright, let's get to it.
Yeah.
Really? You've never run past that? I feel like I'm going the wrong way. I am! I see. I just take a wrong turn as soon as I start off at Peshix. I even have a map marker sitting on my compass, like I should have noticed sooner. Oh well, just take in the beautiful scenery. Don't you love Reshade TM? Not actually trademarked though, because they're wonderful people who have an open source product.
Yeah.
Makes everything beautiful at 0 performance cost.
Yeah.
Ah, God. Why is my sense of direction, like, completely failing me right now? And this is Peshix. We take this road and we go up the hill to freaking Ratai. So why do I keep missing the road?
Yeah.
This one. This is the road. Yes, it is. We're also supposed to be hunting deer, right? Gotta keep an eye out for them while we're out treasure hunting. Oh.
Yeah.
The plan is to ride along the river until we find that little bridge that we're supposed to cross. And ideally that'll keep us from getting too off track from the map. Even if the line does appear to be very close to whatever shack we're looking for. Oh, I'm sorry, Pebbles. Trying to be a good horseman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sad little river. Only got turds flowing down it.
Yeah.
Alright, I see a house and I see another house. This is probably the house that we're looking for. Poppy field. No, I think we went a little too far, but we're on the right track. Actually a bit closer to where I want to be. Somewhere around there, and that's the land bridge there, and then you go down to the charcoal burner camp, and just like west from there, I suppose. Look for a skeleton.
Yeah.
I was looking for something more like an actual hut, since it's only one little drawing, but I guess it means the charcoal burner camp. This not a weapon. It looks like a weapon to me. Dagger, human axe, carpenter's axe. Probably sulfur stuff, right? Halberd, it was a weapon. Dagger. Someone was practicing their throwing. All trash.
Yeah.
Human axe sells for a hundo, though. Means we can probably get like 40 groschen for it.
Yeah.
Bar. Again, I don't know why I'm completely ignoring my compass. It's right there, bruv. Here are the burners. And I guess this would be the hut. Somewhere behind here could be a path. Maybe not directly behind. I imagine there's like an actual path I can follow, considering this is like a mountain looking thing. So it ain't looking that way. What is this? Very big looking rock. Hoping it was a dig site or something. We're looking for a skeleton. It could also just be a grave. Oh, you see this? Little path marked right here. Could be worth looking into. It's like between the huts. It's not just above one. So like, I would get there from in the middle of the camp. Means I'm probably not in the correct position right here.
What the?
What? An apple? The fuck? Their garbage pile or something? Looks like a dirt road, possibly. There's a deadman. Kind of scary looking, actually. I guess that's the whole point of hanging, but like, this is a straight up ghost. Gotta be it. Buck blood potion. Stamina potion, improve your endurance. Stamina is increased by 50% for 10 minutes. Holy shit. Golden chalice, some groshin, shave your stomp, goblet. I mean, that had to have been it, right? We even followed that little path that was right there. I know I feel like there should have been like a piece of the armor though. I'm Sure, that's what it was. There's the skull. Maybe it's in here. Maybe the skulls themselves are collectible. Or it could mark the dig spot. Why I'm forgetting how to crouch. Yeah, no. It's too suspicious to just have a skull like that, like no body, like it has to be the dig spot. I know I opened a chest with fat money in it, but like, come on, there's gotta be something to this. You could also just look it up to be sure, or abandon it because it feels pretty hopeless. Ancient map 1. Let me see. Okay, Kingdom Come Ancient Map 1. Players who pre-ordered Kingdom Come Deliverance are download Treasures from the Past DLC. Includes ancient maps that appear in your shared trunk. 5 different treasures, including pieces of the Warhorse armor. So I was right about that. The maps can be vague but misleading until you find how to read. Map 1. Path leading south along the river, find a camp, site marked with a skull. Looks like there's a deer hunting ground just south of here too, so we can go do that. Basically cheating. Ah, this isn't the actual treasure site. Keep going. You'll come across a body hanging from a tree that marks the right path. You'll find a mound of earth. Using the spade will give you what you need. Cool, so we need to go in further, and yeah. This area isn't even marked with a skull. I guess that's supposed to be like that's what the skull represents on our map that we got. So we keep going in deeper, but I don't know, the death stuff marks that we're on the right path. We're looking for another hanging corpse. See, I would have thought that that was it because it was a box of fat loots. I got like gold, some chalices, like good. Gucci. Gucci corpse. Rabbit. Love to see it. Love to eat it. Never actually had it. Probably tastes good though. We call all those wild animals game meat because they stink, which I imagine means they all taste roughly the same, so rabbit can't taste much different from deer, and deer is delicious. Did I go too far? I may have. I feel like I got my direction a little
Can't
changed
leave
up.
now. I still have obligations here.
Henry, you don't have to do anything here. This is not your fight. This must be it. Holy shit, that's a big skull. Look at this little baby man. Like an alien. Oh, there's his sack. Also incredibly large for his small stature. Decorated riding boots. I think I'm wearing those. A German bassinet. Like, it has a face covering, but it's good armor. It sells for a lot. Roshan, unlucky playing die. Must be for poison. You can put that on our swords to make them poison people. Silver ring, a stinger, short sword. It's a stabber. Look at that. The Warhorse Pauldrons and Waffenfrock are a knight's plate armor created by Italian workshops, consists of several pieces intricately concerned. Italian workshops? Can't you say it was made in Prague or something? Isn't that where Warhorse Studios is located? Intricately made by the best protection, nice armor. Maybe it just stole the description from a similar piece of armor. Old signs, silver threads, fun raiment, nice, embroidered coat of arms. The Order of Warhorse marks one as belonging to that mythical Bohemian Brotherhood, valiant warriors. Fuck! Oh, pebbles. Okay. And it's a face cover. I don't like face covers. We're not wearing that. We're selling that. Silver ring. They just wear that for clout. Some charisma. The Warhorse Pauldrons weighs 8 pounds. Quite a bit. Places of Ambresses, so about 5 pounds now. Protection isn't overall that much better. Like, it's not worth 5 pounds, in my opinion. Doesn't sell for anything because they don't want you to sell it. A nice shiny black. Waffenfrock's cute. Oh, less like a trash bag. Got a nice pimp belt to it too. See no reason to stab someone over choking them out, or then it's probably quicker. So we don't need to worry about that. Stinger's just straight better in every department. Requires 10 agility, which I think I have. I do. Nice. So we can replace our burger sword with that. That was a very fruitful expedition. Check out ancient map number 2. Rat tie. Hey, it's that area we kept running to. Just across the river. Looks like a mine. So that would be like... There's rat tie. There's the river. Probably around here-ish. Alright, what other context clues do we have? After a bend in the road. Bit of land, little land boob, side boob. But this is the bridge. Things aren't lining up for me. Missing something? Is this the bridge I'm looking for right here, perhaps? I don't think so. No, the bridge is leading north. Take that. Ledech goes up that way. Follow the immediate road, look for the bend. And it's over by some racks. Racks, as they say in New York. Yeah, it's probably like up here-ish. Gotta be it. I can't zoom in enough to make the bend more apparent, but that kind of what I'm looking at, I think. And Peshek's along the way. How are we on time? We a half hour in yet? Yes, we are. Okay, boys. Choons, let's talk about Cyberpunk 2077. Geez, I think I played roughly 90 hours, and on GOG it said the average is about 50. Which makes sense. I did all the side activities I could find. There's a couple things I didn't do because they aren't marked on the map. And the max level's 50. I feel like the game just throws XP at you, very similar to the Outer Worlds. You should be leveling up roughly once an hour. So, you know, after 50 hours, you would have hit max level. I was definitely max level for a very long time. While I was still playing the game, but that was okay. Because the game mixes traditional, like, XP-based leveling with organic leveling. Which I think really, really works. So basically, you will have, you know, your core stats, strength, intelligence, agility, stuff like that. And each of those will govern 3 skills. So, like, strength will be, like, blunt weapons, athletics, which is general stamina management, health recovery stuff, and annihilation, which is, like, heavy machine guns and shotguns. And dexterity will be, like, blades, handguns, and submachine guns, LMGs. Stuff like that. And then your level of that stat determines what level you can get that organic skill up to. So if you have 10 strength, you can become level 10 in face punching. And leveling those up gets you small bonuses as well as perk points every so often, so it's worth it to try and level up whatever you can. And, like, your character build isn't just flat done once you've hit max core level, and you can even respec outside of that. Because you're still going to be getting perk points from leveling up your organic trees, which go a lot slower than the other ones. I definitely didn't max out most of them. Athletics especially, since the only way to level it up is by spending stamina. And one of the perks I picked up fairly early was to make it so sprinting doesn't consume stamina, which kind of breaks it entirely. So you have to walk around like punching the air or jumping or whatever if you want to actually level it. As far as perks in general go, they're mostly just small buffs to help with your playstyle. Sometimes they're game-changing things, though, in there, like... Maybe one tree will give you immunity to shock, immunity to bleed, immunity to burning, take less damage from grenades. Swords do a crap ton more damage and some lifesteal when you do a defensive counterattack. Blunt weapons have a chance to stun the enemy, and you get stamina back when you hit a stunned enemy, meaning you can punch infinitely.
Bread baked just this morning. Bread.
And other times it's just like headshots have a higher crit chance when you're hiding behind cover. Higher chance to apply status effects. Boring stuff like that. Generally speaking, if it has multiple levels, it's probably not too useful. But things that are like 1 point, those are always worth grabbing. And they might apply to stuff outside of whatever tree you're in.
Can't live without it either.
Like, the blade tree had one that just straight up made bleeding last longer. So any weapon that had bleeding would just make someone freaking die, because it make it last for like 12 seconds.
Good day to you. Good luck to you.
He doesn't want weapons. Okay, that's fine, that's fine.
Let's have a word about the price.
All right.
Give me more. For 640, mate.
We agreed?
That sounds pretty interesting.
630.
Since it's you.
Close.
Yeah, alright, I'll take 620.
All right, so.
Cool, cool. We have all those cups to sell. We probably want to go to the general store for that. Oh yeah, nourishment. I should probably eat something. I have cabbages still. Pick up a few more of those. So, yeah, basically it just rewards you for how you're playing, and then you can make yourself a little better and whatever you want. But for the most part, I didn't feel that they were too important. I just kind of looked around the trees and found all those 1 point skills that I really wanted. And your reward for maxing out specific skills to get something pretty OP. Like one of them is straight up locked behind being max level in it.
Take care now.
There's simply not enough points for me to justify dumping into one tree. Unless you're going for that kind of thing, like maybe you exclusively want to use swords, or you exclusively want to use cyber magic. What am I doing? I'm selling stuff. Cabbages for me. What is this? Health? Oh, because it heals, right. Really?
I'd like to discuss.
Naturally.
Are we agreed?
We are getting there.
Since it's you.
Close.
Damn. Okay.
Very well.
Torch will help. Your fields lie fallow. Here's a hoe. Need straw for
I kind of just dumped right into the skill tree because it was a smooth transition, but,
Flour, egg, salt, yeast. Let it bake a bit and you'll be able to feed the
outside
poor
of that,
bread.
I don't know, I don't feel like any of my leveling really mattered too much outside of getting more health. The agility one gives you like a block chance type thing, and as well as crit chance. It was all pretty useful, improving move speed.
Very well.
But like, I don't feel like the increments for the most part were too noticeable or anything like that. Which, I don't know, just meant it wasn't satisfying to level up. Though, like, it was there. I appreciate it. Though, like, you know, I don't feel like I would replay the game to try out a different build, especially since you just had to pay money to respec. Like, you can just do that at a whim. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't feel like build variety was very strong. I was definitely a jack of all trades, and even then I felt pretty strong in all fields.
Let's talk about the.
Well,
Satisfied?
I'd almost.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I'll go for that.
But you know, I've said before, I feel like role-playing
dog at home.
is more specifically like dialogue choices and the ability to approach situations however you would like. The game being able to react to whatever you did. Very common in immersive sims, which aren't always RPGs, but
People, come up close and have a smell.
this game definitely does both. Kind of. The dialogue choices only have short-term consequences, nothing, I don't feel like I really had too much influence over the actual story. But the game definitely lets you just go wild with however you want to approach a situation. It's very similar to Deus Ex, which is, of course, another cyberpunk thing. Human Revolution, I mean. Those games. Mankind Divided. Adam Jensen Saga. Those are very good, too. It just felt very similar to those in general, really. Like, aside from the main tree, you also get cyberware. And that's what leveling up feels like more significant. So that's all dictated by how much money you have or whether or not you have the clout to get whatever rare component. Visiting the various Ripper docks that you have to discover who all have unique stock. That worked the very same way in the Deus Ex reboot games. They're not even officially reboots, they're prequels. Like, the old games are still acknowledged in them. Yeah, you can get stuff like a leg upgrade that'll get rid of fall damage, give you double jump. Maybe you can hold the button and jump really high. You can get arm augments that'll enable ricochets for power-type weapons, or smart targeting for the smart weapons, which means the bullets have tracers on them, and they'll attack specific body parts or leap over cover. They're pretty cool. I like to have those on, like, pistols and stuff. Get arm upgrades for, like, the mantis blades, or like a little nano wire whip thing, or the gorilla arms. Those are your only 3 options, sadly, but they're all pretty cool. The blades are obviously a replacement for katanas, which are probably the more busted of the options. I didn't try out the nano wire at all, to be honest. But katanas, when you do an attack with them, you will, like, fly in close to whoever you're trying to attack, so it's, like, ideal for a melee build, whereas gorilla arms, you just kind of stuck punching. It's really satisfying to punch a guy and watch his head fly off, though, and have the game tell you that was non-lethal. Now, the reason you want the expensive arm upgrades is because you only have 3 equip slots, even on PC. So pressing 4 will equip your fist for whatever arm weapon you have. Whereas the other ones you'll want to have open to the gun types. It's not really worth it to use any of the melee weapons, in my opinion. If you want a katana or a baseball bat or whatever, that'll have to occupy a slot, which I just felt was dumb when, like, my fists are already a solid melee weapon. Especially after you turn them into gorilla arms. There's another gun type called a power type, which you simply charge up, and that's what, like, leveling up your engineering tech skills will let you do. And the cool thing about those is the charged attacks will pierce enemies and cover, as well as just, like, multiplying damage by a crap ton. So, you know, you turn to, like, Samus with a railgun. And, you know, those are pretty satisfying on snipers and shotguns. I'm looking for some large rocks. Could be it. Single sight. So not quite what I'm looking for, I don't think. Right, speaking of the different gun types, heavy machine guns are basically only carried by, like, heavy enemies, and turrets, you can rip them off of turrets, but you can't keep them. They're like halberds in this game. Like, they do big damage, but they have limited ammo, and then, like, if you try to switch, you just drop it on the floor. Kinda lame. Then there's shotguns, which have a few different varieties, like the automatic ones, the ones you just fire a few times, then you can reload. Like, you reload shell by shell. So they're, like, good until they're out of ammo, and then they suck. Or the double barrels, which fire twice, of course. And then you have to reload, and they're very slow, too. Those ones are more powerful to compensate, though. Pistols, they're basically all machine pistols. Like, you hold the button and they keep firing fast. Those revolvers, which are a different class of weapon. They're not the same as pistols. They just fire big bullets, basically shotguns. Those are also good as charge type weapons. Power, yeah, charge. SMGs, those are all roughly the same. Snipers, those are all snipers, of course. Oh, you know what? I forgot. There is an arm rocket mod you can get. I didn't even try that, though, because, like, grenades are fine. And they're normal machine guns, too, which I didn't care for. I think the SMG is just better all around. That's about it. They all come from different manufacturers, similar to something like Borderlands. They'll have their different quirks, but they only have, like, one model of gun per manufacturer. And then they come out to you as Diablo loot, with, of course, unique variants lying around. So, with some like katanas, those are all basically the same. They just look a little different. And like the pistols, you might have some that's like does more crit damage, which is better for sneak attacks. Or some that just has a higher fire rate. And elemental effects are a thing. I don't know. I didn't feel too, like, engrossed by the loot. I just found, like, an orange variant, or a purple, whatever the highest I could get my hands on was, and stuck with it. Which you can spend money and components to upgrade weapons to scale along with you. So, I really just didn't care for most of the looting in the game either. They even give you, like, a legendary pistol as soon as you start, because it's, like, tradition. When you turn a certain age, you get your own cool gun. It gives you, like, a blue variant of it, though. When you get a legendary weapon, you have to upgrade it a few times. And you need an engineering perk to unlock each tier of upgrading beyond blue. So, like, I never got the orange variants of them, but they're all still basically more powerful than anything else I found. So yeah, basically all the crap you pick up, you're just going to want to dismantle it or sell it. I recommend selling it if you're a completionist, because there's not going to be enough money from doing the quest to buy all the vehicles and houses. That's what's interesting about this site. Federal route. I'm looking for a mine shaft or something. That might be the rock formation we were looking at. The big rock. I think the mine shaft should be below it. So maybe if I keep going along this way. Right, there's also armor. It's very silly armor, but like you're getting like t-shirts and tank tops and shit. Armor values. And I don't know, there aren't too many legendary unique armors in the game, so you're just gonna try and find something that doesn't make you look ridiculous, but you're probably gonna look ridiculous. And stick with it, upgrade it, whatever. There are a couple of mods for the game I installed, actually. One of them was just to simply hide closed objects thing because I didn't want to look stupid all the time. Like the hats and helmets, I just basically never wanted. Sunglasses, I didn't want. I wanted my head just completely exposed most of the time, so I always had those hidden. Sometimes you don't want your jacket over your tank top or whatever. Sometimes it like overrides it and it's kind of stupid. Like you're wearing a long sleeve shirt and then you put on a dress and like now you no longer have the shirt underneath it. Even though some other armors do stack with it, which is why it's really jarring when it happens. And then, well, you can hide your pants if you want to watch your cock flop around in first person. Which is hilarious, but you had to get another mod to enable that. Because whatever genitalia you picked didn't actually freaking matter, because you just have like a vagina in first person, you'd hide it for some reason, even though you saw it in character creation. Like, what? You already saw it, you don't need to hide it, guys. Alright, another smooth transition. Character creation, it's like sliders and selection things, so there's a lot of variety, to be honest. Very progressive in letting you pick between feminine and masculine, as well as swapping out your genitalia to mismatch. Which technology has come that far in the time period. You see advertisements all over the place for, like, mix it up, and, like, the freaking model on the poster is a transgender woman drinking a mixed drink. Or, like, there's ads for the Mr. Stud attachment, which is, like, just a better cock you get. Actually ran into Jesse Cox, the YouTuber in the game, who had he bought a cheap one and it was malfunctioning. I had to rush him to a doctor to get his cock checked out. So as far as like sexuality with companion type characters go, you can't actually play the game with a partner like in Fallout, sadly, but as far as that goes, I think they only care about whether you're feminine or masculine, which is really strange. I feel like the genitalia should have some influence over it. But it doesn't, and what makes me think that is that Judy, I believe, is gay. Like, she likes women. And then when you do her sex scene, it looks like very much this was meant to be two women doing things. Whether you've opened the character creation menu and swapped out your genitalia didn't have any influence over the scene, I mean. Same with Detective River Ward. He was very much doing things with a woman. Though with that, it's like a bit more ambiguous when he's like giving you a head or whatever. So again, they don't show any penetration. It's like fever dream short clips of stuff. Again, probably the most graphic sex scenes have ever been in a video game, though. But considering that they've shown you full nudity, like you don't have underwear, it lets you pick your genitalia, I feel like they maybe should have gone for the full porn. Just saying. Jeez. I'm not even sure if I'm in the right area, man. Like, this has to be it, but, like, it's not. Let's see, normally when I make a character, I try to make something resembling myself, but, here I chose to go with a girl for once, just because, like, most of your options are punk, like, alt-ish, so, like, you can be a guy with a mohawk and green hair, and, yeah, it kind of just looks better on a girl, in my opinion. All that fashion stuff's not for me, so we made a girl. Also, Ghost in the Shell's pretty cool, so that works. Works out having a badass babe. Also, I think the voice actor is Jennifer Hale, who's always great. I have no idea who the male voice actor was, so, like, definitely a plus on that end. And if it wasn't obvious, I swapped out the genitalia for a cock at some point because it's hilarious to watch yourself flopping when you're jumping over buildings and shit. Though you can always go to a mirror and swap out whatever at any time. Because again, tech has come that far, you can like change your gender on the fly. So I guess that's it systems-wise, right? Except for driving, that's the one thing I didn't talk about because it's the one thing they didn't really fix. Like, they worked on it, but driving cars is always just so horrible. And I figured it out eventually. It's because they move too fast. The NPCs don't even know how to drive because the shit's too hard, but, like, if you look at your speedometer, you're going like 200 miles an hour, bruv. If you try and make a little turn, you will spin the fuck out. It's funny because there's even like news things talking about how cars are all dangerous and they're trying to make it illegal for anyone to actually drive their car. They want it to all be automated. Because they simply shouldn't go that fast. You fucking go from 0 to 40 as soon as you hit the button. NPCs are all driving like maniacs too, and because you're going so fast, I end up driving faster than my computer is able to even load in new assets. So, like, I run into blurry buildings, I phase through walls that haven't quite loaded in yet. Just too much, man. Between two rivers. Crap, did I miss something? I don't think this is the area anymore because where's the other river? But this has to be it because, like, what the fuck? Ratai. Up from the gate, across the bridge, and there's two rivers. Or it could be a mountain range, actually, because there's trees on both ends. The Dutch goes that way. Could be talking about this. Maybe this right here, right? Where's the bend in the river? Oh, it's along the one that goes up around Ratai. there's the boat on it, so that's definitely the bridge it's talking about right here. And I guess there is another river here on the map, I just not seeing it. This is the place. Fall down, go to the first bend, look for some rocks. We're going back to the bridge. Whatever, there's a lot of cars to collect, and that's basically the only thing that money is good for, aside from upgrading your weapons, which are limited by your stats or whatever, character level. And buying houses too, which give you a nice place to sleep, and you can spend experience. You get buffs for doing various things, like you can drink coffee, get some extra stamina regen, you can take a shower, health regen, sleeping gives experience bonus. Go further in, maybe? No, couldn't be. It couldn't be. I'm not seeing the fork in the road unless it's that little jut right there above the, under the Ledechko arrow. Here's the bend. Here's the up. The cars themselves do have some pretty cool designs, though for the most part, they fall into categories. You got the Valentino gang type vehicles, which are like Cholo pimp mobiles. You got the Corpo mobiles, which are just fucking nice Tesla supercars. You got the normie vehicles, like the smart car with the suicide doors, one of the best vehicles in the game because it's small and it doesn't spin out when you make turns. And you got like the Nomad Junker that's been tricked the fuck out with tons of engines and armor plating and stuff, and those ones go the fastest. And they have the best handling while they're moving fast. I think the one that I mained was the Javelina, which costs almost 200k. One of the most expensive ones you can get. I also like the Shion Coyote, which is a modded corporate vehicle to look more like the Nomad type. And is overall just better version of the Shion. That has to be the little dirt mound thing. Cool rocks we came across. Speaking of the vehicles, though, they all have their little quirks again. Though specifically, the Nomad ones are better because they have, like, off-road tires, and they actually matter a lot if you're digging around the desert. I think this is the rock. Try this. And it should just be like a little bit south of this. Like it could even be this right here. Urgh! The apartments are all, like, varying levels of shitty to nice. More expensive ones are obviously nice. I guess my favorite one's, like, the high-rise apartment with the big-ass window in Center City. Center City is basically the only nice part of the city. Everywhere else is kind of like a ghetto war zone. Especially Pacific Other Strip, cars burning and blocking the streets. Japantown's its own thing too, but we don't talk about Japantown. And that's all you spend your money on, so like that's your trophy collecting. Beans. I don't know, some people might be into that, especially if you're like a car slut, but I'm not. Which is why I wasn't compelled enough to grind out the money to buy last two vehicles for achievements. So the gameplay itself is fun, so like I did everything that was marked on the map. So there are other side missions that are like come from a police scanner that you just kind of briefly see them when you're in the area. You'll see like an active crime going on. And those can just be something simple like you interrupt a drug deal, or it could be like you find a whole little mini dungeon out on the map and you go work your way through a cool little level. So there's no way of tracking them at any point, like you just have to find them. I can't believe I'm about to praise Prototype 2, but like even that, when you're looking for the audio logs on the map, you'd see little pings coming out when you move your mouse around, and that could lead you to where they are when they aren't marked. I wish there was something like that in the game, but there is not. On. I think what I want might be more over here. Like, I wasn't taking scale into account. I just, like, it looks so close to where the bridge is on the map. But what should have been the big tip-off to me is you can see our treasure is on, like, the vertical part of the river, which means I have to go all the way around until the river turns vertical. Damn, we just wasted all that time. Crap. Well, a torch. Can't see. We're stuck. Geez, I didn't talk about freaking cyber magic. I mentioned it, but, like, it's OP, okay? Basically, you get, based on your intelligence, you can put in a new cyber deck in your head, which is just, like, I don't know, a quick microcomputer that has slots in it, and you can slot demons into these slots. I think the max one has, like, 5 slots. I can only afford the 4-slot one. And then you can craft or pick up the things that you put in it, and there'll be things like ping, which will reveal everyone connected to an object on network. So, like, when you get detected when you're sneaking and all the enemies magically know where you are, it's because they're all on the same Wi-Fi, and they all get alerted by whoever saw you or whatever security camera saw you. And they can just magically look into what the camera sees, and like it all makes sense in this game. You know it's probably bad game design. So you can do that to just find all connected devices, maybe reveal a camera that's in a spot that's probably gonna trip you up. Go south. Your short circuit obviously does more damage to robots, just hurts a guy. It's a quick cast, but the higher versions also apply like shock and other debuffs. There's overheat, which does fire damage, usually ends up killing someone. Contagion does like poison and it spreads to other ones. The poison's not that powerful unless you've invested in the sneaky tree. Disable eyes or jam optics, which also spreads. You disable weapons, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of stuff. I mostly went for attacks because they're really strong. I think I left my intelligence at like 12 out of 20, and even then the stuff I was casting was able to like auto kill guys. So I walk into a room, turn on the slow-mo vision to hack guys.
Hey, lad, don't you want a little wager on the rat egg tourney?
And I'll be like, okay, auto kill you with short circuit, set this guy on fire, all of you are blind, all of you have cyber aids, and then I finish off the rest of them. You can also do like a shitty mini game where you have to go through like a Sudoku grid and put in a pattern that it gives you at random. And there's a whole skill tree dedicated to this mini game. At its basic level, it just reduces the cost of the quick hacks that you can cast, which are those other things I was talking about. But in that tree, you can unlock other options. So, when the next time you open up, you might be able to cast the Mass Vulnerability Demon, which will make the guy take 30% more damage if you put in a specific pattern. And what's cool about the patterns is you'll have like 4 or 5 available moves, and you can just put in whatever combination gets you the most bang for your buck. So sometimes the patterns will overlap, or you can maybe chain them off of each other and cast 2 or 3 at once. And that could be a really cool play style if you like the mini game, but it gets very repetitive very quick. The other unique skill tree I forgot to talk about was called Cold Blood, which just rewards you for killing enemies in quick succession. It's the basic perk for it, which lets you get more stacks of it. It just increases your move speed, but then you can apply all kinds of other buffs on kill. Like more resistance. Enemies within 10 meters take more range damage. Enemies take more melee damage. And as you invest more in that stat, the cool stat, as it's called, you get more unique options that come out of it than just basic stuff like what I mentioned. It was very useful. I leveled that one a lot. I don't know, the cyber magic's cool, but again, it's like kind of OP. higher level enemies have like more resistance against it, so it costs more RAM units to cast stuff, but even then it does like a hefty amount of damage. I could see yourself going for like a pure quick hack build, but it also wouldn't be very fun. So like combining it with stealth works out pretty well. Especially when you like hack into a camera and then you start casting cyber aids on guys. It feels pretty good. Notice I haven't talked about any bugs. That's because they're mostly squashed. The game still could run better, but on my what is it, an RX 6060 XT, which is like a, I don't know, it's like a $400 or $500 GPU. Sells relatively close to what it's supposed to be right now. Like, GPU prices have mostly gone back to normal. I can max it on basic settings, and with ray tracing, it boots down to like a 30-20 range. Like, the ray tracing is very unoptimized. Even with mods to make it work a bit better, I still just opted to turn it off. Otherwise, I can max it, and it didn't lag at all at any point, other than just me not being able to load in buildings fast enough when going 200 miles an hour. I don't know if I, even on a solid state, would have been able to keep up with that. It's really just too fast to move through the world like that. You drive from one end of the city to the other in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Assassin, eh? The old woman sets a fucking assassin on me?
What the fuck?
Is that the best you can do?
Oh! The dog push and recovers from hangovers. Guys didn't have much useful knight's hunting sword. Right, I did run into one single bug side quest, which I was able to skip ahead using console commands. Basically, there was like a body that was bugged into a wall. I was supposed to like save this person because scabs took him, which are people who like drug you and then move you into like a cooler to extract your organs and, more importantly, your cyberware. And they just leave you to fucking rot. Which is what the starting mission of the game is. Remember that, like, scripted gameplay trailer where you save the naked lady from the tub of ice and you bring her to the trauma team who flies her off? Yeah, that's in the game. Like, it plays out exactly like that, but nothing else that scripted ever happens. But, you know, those guys, that situation happened again. And yeah, I went to save that guy. I actually ended up getting his body, even though it was bugged into a wall. But, like, it didn't register that I picked him up for some reason, and that was it. So I had to skip ahead with that quest. And that was the only one that messed up. Because that was the final objective, I didn't get my payment for the mission, but it didn't matter too much, because it's just money. Having the quest done itself, though, was the last thing I needed to do for that fixer, a guy who gives you jobs. So, doing all the gigs for a fixer will get you a special reward, usually a unique gun. And that's all that I really wanted out of it. I believe it gave me a shotgun for that guy. Love to see it. Yeah, other than that, pretty bug-free. Occasionally physics glitches, of course stuff happening with the car. Maybe I, like, drive too fast and the collision activates so I'm halfway inside of another car and then I go flying, and I'm still in full control of the car, so I actually use that as a shortcut to get myself across, say, by flying over buildings in my AV. Which is short for air vehicle. Another thing that's, like, not used too much. Air vehicles are for, like, rich people, you know, you don't have to deal with traffic or any bullshit. But sadly, you never make it rich enough to afford one of those. I feel like that should have been like one of your endgame rewards, but it's just not. Okay, here's the river. I think this might just be the mine right here. Possible. But here's the river, so if I went up and revealed those clouds, it would probably show me what I want. That way, first divot in the river, and it's on this bump after it. Here's the divot, and it would be like down here. Pretty far down out. Let's try going down more. See what the map shows us. So I mentioned that everywhere is kind of like a gross slum. I don't know, that's like the world. There was an old Cyberpunk 2077 game, which I think maybe got delisted. It was like a Fallout-esque type CRPG. And it was based on like an actual tabletop rule set. Like all that lore and stuff was already written before CD Projekt Red picked it up.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say they created a world, because all that existed. Like even the whole Johnny Silverhand story, that's a crucial part of the lore.
I can't just drop everything and leave.
But I don't know, they did like realize it. They made a believable world. Lots of stuff going on. I felt it was like a very realistic depiction of what our future was, even with all the subtext and stuff. Though as a game, there isn't anything for you to do aside from shoot people. It isn't like GTA. It doesn't feel like a lived-in space. You can't go bowling with Cousin Roman. No mini-games for you to play. You kind of just kill people. Kill, because you have to go out of your way to actually murder. Health insurance is that good, and everyone's got their cyberware on, so... You incapacitate people with your guns, usually, unless you go and cap them after they're on the ground. I don't know, there's just lots of cool stuff. Again, it's like a believable place, but just like any city is currently, it's kind of fucking gross. People say Night City is where you go to fill your dreams when you're not in it, and then when you're in it, people say it's where dreams go to die. That's basically the description of Los Angeles. And Night City is located in California, so it's very likely a new Los Angeles. But, like, you can see it's all desert. People are eating bugs because animals don't really exist anymore. Most of them are extinct. I went with the Nomad backstory. And, like, the first job there was you were smuggling an extinct iguana. It was actually still alive, kept in a cooler.
Yeah.
Outside the city, there's, like, massive greenhouses for people who are growing synthetic vegetables because the real ones don't exist anymore. Which, I didn't learn this till a little bit ago, but, you know, our bananas are all synthetic now. They look nothing like they did 50 years ago. Because those are extinct. Like, we don't even necessarily need the tropical trees or whatever that they grow from. We could probably just take care of all that in a greenhouse if we really wanted to. I guess that's how they do it there. Alright, we're going back up to this mine. Something ain't quite right on the map.
Yeah.
Texas went independent, of course, as they're currently trying to do. They have, like, so much money. They don't even have income tax over there. Like, they're a self-sufficient place, and they feel superior because they maybe are. The American flag looks different. I think that we actually replaced Texas with Puerto Rico. So we have basically a Puerto Rican flag surrounded by stars. Again, Puerto Rico is something that we're actively working on turning into a state. We just never have. It's been a U.S. territory for, like, over a decade. Which is why their flag is literally just an American flag with a single star. Crime's completely out of control because everybody got kind of bored and turned to a degenerate lifestyle after the internet fell apart, because we released, like, nuclear viruses into the net, and the AI tried to take over the world. So the internet is, like, now a very private thing. We have a government-issued net watch to keep things over behind a massive firewall. They're constantly fighting the freaking horrible AIs. But basically nobody uses the internet anymore. I need to get closer to the river. Probably another mine up around here. Culturally, everybody is, like, either Asian, because of course the Asian cultures are all very isolationist, so you're either straight Chinese or Japanese. Or Japanese and Koreans probably mix some. And then everyone else is, like, black, because it's very hard to not tell that you're black, or, like, a Latino-white mix, as things currently are. That's basically the state of things in the United States currently. But it's very rare to see someone who's, like, just straight white. Everybody who appears to be white has, like, a Spanish last name, at least. I think even American Dad point that out when future Stan paid them a visit. Everybody's just gonna be like a mostly Latino mix of things. And that's what like Imperials are in Elder Scrolls as well. But like culturally, that seems to be like the dominant thing too. Everybody is like very Mexican culture. And you got like the very traditional Japanese people. And again, the Chinese organization. And then nomads are their own thing. They're like bikers and mechanics and stuff. They just like cars. They seem to be composed of like ex-war vets who are just like, fuck the corpse, we're living outside the city, we're gonna steal from them, we're gonna get tanks and try and bring them down.
Who's there?
This guy doesn't look friendly.
To arms! Get over here!
To arms!
The answer to my...
Raise the alarm!
Yeah.
Watch out! Over here! Where is everyone? Quick! To arms! Get over here!
They ran away. I guess they recognized the might of my sword. Difficult, damn. Bandit ear full. What was I saying? Right, those are all the groups. Oh, wait, there is one gang that seems kind of white, but, like, they're not in, like, a racist way. They're, like, cyber elitists called the Maelstormers. And basically, they're, like, the scavs, but instead of taking your shit, they put shit on you after drugging you. So they'll, like, rip your face off and give you fucking whole face missing cyber robot face, make you look like a cyclops. And they're like a biker gang, kind of aesthetically. And they're really into like this shitty thrash metal synth type band. This might be the river that I'm supposed to be looking for right here. I didn't know this was even here. That sounds like shit to us, but to them, they harmonize with it with their special implant that replaces their face. So it maybe sounds like beautiful music to them, which is a really interesting idea, but like, I don't know, they're like the scummiest gang, and I made sure to always stomp out everyone they put down. There's seemingly no penalty for killing or choking someone out in stealth ever, but I always made sure to snap their necks. There's like a group of monks that, you know, they swear off worldly possessions. That includes cyberware. There's like a side quest you get where one of them got kidnapped and had his face replaced. Yeah. And he has to try and figure out his new life while still being a monk who swore off the shit and is trying to get people to also get rid of their implants. Interesting predicament. That's probably the scummiest group in my opinion, though. As a mercenary, you're obviously doing deals with all these groups, but, like, sometimes you're allowed to have a conscience. It's rare, but sometimes. And again, whenever given the chance, I choose to fuck them over specifically. But, you know, occasionally get a job where, like, you're supposed to deliver a car somewhere, but halfway down the street you hear there's someone in the trunk. Do you deliver the car, keep your mouth shut, or do you open the trunk and try and find out what's going on? Which, even though it might risk your pay and hurt your rep. Rare, but again, it's cool when that happens. I just don't know, man.
Yeah.
I guess all that's left to talk about are the jobs and the story, which I saved for last because I'm definitely going to spoil it. The game's been out for like 2 or 3 years now, and I definitely want to talk about the endings. So, like, side quests, I of course mentioned there's a random police scanner things, which are all short little jaunts. You go kill people doing a drug deal or whatever. Then there are gigs, which are basically the same thing, but a little more substance to them. Those are the ones that are actually marked on your map, and then there are the actual side quests, which are a lot of. And these ones all have, like, writing, and it's very good writing. Lots of interesting stuff. I guess one of my favorites is probably the one where you're helping out one of the people running for mayor, and you find out that, like, their private security team they hired built a secret office in their house. Like, they already have cameras set up in their house, but they built additional surveillance in their house. And working for an undisclosed company, started, like, beaming new memories in their head and brainwashing them, which is how they got away with it in the first place. But they've been slowly, over time, changing their personalities. And it becomes unclear whether or not the guy even actually wants to run for mayor, or if they're trying to use him as a puppet. And if you're not careful with your investigation, you might get infected with them as well, and they're able to just, like, wipe your brain and mess with your phone contacts and stuff. And I don't know, I feel like I made a mistake, but I did not get a happy resolution to that quest. I don't even know if there is a happy resolution to it, but, like, there's, like, a massive sense of existential dread to that whole idea. Dude, where am I? I don't know if I went, like, too far in. Am I supposed to be, like, just along the top road? I don't know if I'm supposed to be across this bridge yet or not. Though it would make sense for the river to be that. Here is Ledechko. I'm, like, Now, we spent too long doing this to not look. I have to get an idea of where I'm actually supposed to be. See if I even close the page out. I didn't. Cool. Cool. Ancient map 2 can be a bit misleading, you don't say. It shows the town of Ratai in a river and a mine shaft in the woods southwest of the town Ledechko. The drawing is fairly condensed, as the river in the map is not the small stream near Ratai, but the large Sasau River. Huh? So, do they mean this one up here? Like it's above Ledechko, perhaps? Because Sasau is like here-ish. Map is fairly condensed. Sasau River, the path above the Ratai Mill leads along a very long road heading into deep woods southwest corner of Bohemia. Take maps. And now it's giving me actual directions. Yeah, this is in a deep wooded area. I'm looking for like a curve, kinda, surrounded by a lot of woods. Which is none of this. Right? It didn't mention Varnik. It just said Ledechko, Sasau River. It could be like up here even. Southwest the town of Ledechko. Some map boob. It has to be in here. They're not giving me, like, good pictures. Thank you, IGN. Like, fandom. Geir Neuhoff. Treasure map 2. Oh, it's because I'm still on map 1. God. Switch over to fucking video search. I don't want that. Fandom. My best friend. Remember when it was called Wikia? Fucking ass. The Wi-Fi in my room has to be so shit. Why do I live in a garage? There's Sasau. Yeah. Yes, I'm on the right track. It's like... It's deep in here, bruv. Condensed is an understatement. Like, that map is minuscule. And freaking looking at where it is, Vranik would have been the ideal marker for them to put on the map, but it's fucking nowhere to be seen. I think it's maybe because Vranik isn't an official town, it's like a war camp they set up. It's actually part of the main story, you go there fairly late in the game.
Yeah.
But shit. Right, so writing on the side quests is pretty exceptional. You get roped into a few of them from the main story, but other ones you just kind of like gradually drip feed to you as your street cred grows up, and people are like, yo, I can trust you. Like that one with the mayor candidate, you need to have high cred for them to want you for that job. Occasionally you get a dumb one, like, there was one where I went to a party with one of the gangs, and they were just having, like, a drinking shooting contest. You take a shot and then have to shoot some targets. And then you'd run off to another range, take another shot, shoot more targets. And you're trying to set the high score, and that was the whole mission. And there was another stupid one where, like, you just got basically a gig, but it was from the chick you saved in the prologue. You know, the scripted scene I was talking about. And she just, you know, it's just a gig. She just wants you to steal something and bring it back to her. And she's like, okay, did you peek or did you not? Or if she thinks that you hacked it open, then you don't get your payment. And I punched her in her bitch face and knocked her head off. And that was that. I don't know, it's an opportunity to learn more about her, maybe why she was kidnapped in the first place. She obviously has a ton of money. See, here is the divot. This is the curve, this is the divot. And, geez, we're like on a tangent. I want to show you how fucking condensed this map is, bruv. Doesn't that look tiny AF? Then you look on the actual map. Bam! This is a big-ass curve, bruv. Here's the fucking river. I was right that this is the curve I wanted, but, like, the map ends around here and these big, thick clouds. Like, god damn, dude. That was way much. Here's the other river. It wasn't this one, it was this, but... Ugh. That's such a misleading map. Still, again, with any choices you make, it feels like they only have short-term effect. Nothing really comes back on you later like they do in The Witcher, which I think is a fair comparison to make, considering that they made The Witcher. I don't think the game is better than The Witcher by any means, like, bugs aside. Just, like, from a design standpoint, it's simply not up to par. Though, like, for people who feel like the game isn't what they promised, no, it definitely is. It definitely is. Yeah, there are a few things that are missing because they were scripted AF when they showed us gameplay before. Like, you can't grab onto walls and hang. But, like, I don't know, most, if not all the stuff is there. Like, 90% or more of the stuff is there. It is exactly what I was expecting now that it functions. Minus the part where everything's gross. I was expecting more of a cool future world when they first showed off that trailer in like 2013 or whatever. Ah, right, something I didn't mention. They have like a special task force called like Max Tac or something for like out of control cyber psychos. And you see someone, like, in the beginning of the game just get fucked by that. Someone was, like, doing a carjacking, and they just fly over in their AV, kill everyone involved, even the victims, and they drive off. Because the police force does not have time for that shit. I guess they're supposed to come after you when you have, like, max wanted level. But it's very hard to get your wanted level up that high, and I basically never had any run-ins with them, which I feel like it could have been a cool thing to go up against them for a story mission at least. But never. Never ever. Missed opportunity. Probably would have been smart to find those rocks, but looking for a mine shaft out here.
This is certainly no time for roving.
And that's that. Like, as an RPG, I don't feel like it's the best, but as, like, a shooter, as a immersive sim type thing, I think it's pretty good. Definitely more of an RPG than Fallout 4, if that means anything to you. And, like, in its current state, I would recommend playing it. Like, it's mostly functional. I still don't like the cars, but whatever. And, like, the writing's all very good, very interesting. Gameplay is fun, but, like, there's not much to it. You kind of just, you know, it's a shooter. And, like, you don't have crazy guns. They're all pretty grounded in reality. This must be that big rock. Might be it over there, but out from here first. No, this is it. This is it. Big rock right above the shaft. We're perfect. And I did play like 90 hours of it, so like even after hitting max level, I still felt great about playing. Unlike the Outer Worlds, where I felt like something was just missing when you did that. I don't know, I'm having trouble coming up with a number rating I would give it. Like, yes, I obviously enjoyed it. And, like, it deserves points lost for, like, the state it came out in, and it took, like, almost 2 years for them to patch it into an acceptable state, right? And that's just, like, not okay. Like, it's obviously far from a 10. And it's not a 9 either. Somewhere between a 7 and an 8. Maybe an 8 because I did like it, but, like, I don't know, something was just kind of missing, so, like, it's hard to say. I don't do decimals, but 7.5 feels correct. So you can take that however your personal however your personal inclinations would lead you. If you're someone like me who doesn't love shooters most of the time, maybe you'll take it as a 7. Don't have the strength to wield this. I won't for a while. £8 for 18 defense. I don't know if I need to wear this just yet, but I'm gonna hold on to it. Better coif, significantly heavier, but I'll take it. That's Much better armor. That's the kind of value you want. My current choices: 9, 13, 3 pounds, 4 pounds. These are lighter and better. Awesome. Gauntlets. 3 pounds. My hunter's gloves they're very light. God, those are sexy though. Look at that. You don't mind get punched in the face with that pimp glove? Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm necessarily going to wear those just yet, but I want them. Oh, right. We're going to go do some actual quests now, because that treasure hunt took a long, long time. That chick. Right, so now we're going to talk about story. So I said I went with the Nomad background. There are 3 backgrounds you can choose from. One's like a Corpo. I don't know what happens with either of the other 2. Corpo and Street Kid. Nomad, you are someone who's moving into Night City, essentially. That's what I interpret it as, but I learned that Nomad meant something very different very quickly. Where you're like the anti-establishment gangers living off the grid. But your gang falls apart, you get absorbed into a corporation, I guess. It's like the ultimate failure. You strike out on your own, choose to go into Night City, and your goal is simply to become a legend. That's what you want. So, doing your smuggling job, you run into Jackie Wells. That seems to be the common point in all the stories. You run into Jackie, and he helps you get in with people. You do that, you do the scripted-ass mission where you save the naked lady.
Yeah.
Then you wake up in the open world, and it's your big day, you're finally hitting the big leagues, you're getting a big job from a big league fixer with a gold hand and a fat belly. And this guy is sketchy AF, and he gives you a sketchy AF job. To go rob the Arasaka Corporation. That's like the biggest corporation. Basically a suicide mission, but they think you're up to it, and you got big balls, so you say you're up to it, but you're not up to it. It goes fucking horrible. It goes horribly wrong, and you end up dying, and the thing that you stole was like a chip containing someone's soul, essentially, like a digitized version of someone's whole personality, their brain, whatever. And that chip is like slowly overriding your personality. And that's how you come back from being dead. It brings you back to life because it's making changes to your body to make it accept the new personality. However, this is obviously killing you, so the rest of the game is a race against time to try and figure out how to get this thing to fuck out of your body and not die, while also retaining what's left of your personality. When you pause the game, you'll see 3 meters. One is simply, like, your street cred. That's what V's ultimate goal is. One is progression of Johnny taking over your body, and another is just, like, the overall time limit you have left.
Yeah.
And you'd think that these go up to, like, closer to 100%, whatever, as you're making story progress, but what I didn't realize until pretty later on is that the Johnny meter is very much, like, exactly what it means. And by the end of the game, it'll be, like, 60%. And like, oh, I still have, like, half his story left. No, that means that he has 60% of your personality is him. Like, you are more Johnny than you are you by the end of the game. And that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really cool reveal when it hit me. For the story, you just, like, meet people who have their own side quest lines, and they're obviously all romanceable. You just dick around looking for various avenues to try and get this thing out. Like, you can go to Arasaka directly and tell them to take it out. You can kill yourself. You can look for the people who made the chip, since they ditched, apparently. Or you can just, like, seek off-the-grid help from, like, maybe one of the AIs from outside the Black Wall or something like that. That's not all exactly what happens, but, like, you basically go through all stuff like that, eventually culminating in the final mission, where you all go do the same thing, because it's all... You basically only have one choice, except for killing yourself. That one's always an option.
Bread,
Garlic soup for the
rolls,
winter,
buns, and
onion
pretzels
soup
for
the
you.
spring. Asparagus for taste.
Now, Johnny Silverhand, he's obviously played by Keanu Reeves, the big star power, the man who was supposed to be shilling for the game, but later admitted that he has never actually played a video game. So he thinks they're cool, like, he appreciates the medium.
I wouldn't bet, good neighbours, but I'm reduced to this. I'm from Scarlet.
He obviously played a big role in, like, the Matrix games, which are all canon.
Implements, instruments, and tools. Everything.
And he also gave you his blessing to, like, jerk off to his avatar, so that's cool. I don't know, he enjoyed playing Johnny so much that he opted for a bigger role in the game, and he basically becomes, like, your partner. He, like, talks to you about he gives you his perspective, he sometimes jokes with you while you're doing side quests, and he's, like, he's great to have around. He starts off as kind of a dick, but, like, he learns to like you, and you learn to like him. Like, both the character and you, actually. And by the end of the game, I felt bad that, like, my goal was to erase him. But that's what we had to do. However, you do have another option. You can let him take over your body. That's another ending. Or you can not let him take over your body and he still does it. Like, there are lots of nuances to how you want the plot to play out. Though I feel like that one in particular, what should have been, like, how you interacted with him. Like, maybe if you always hated him, maybe he just felt freaking spiteful and took you over your body when he had a chance. But no, it seems very much like he's your friend. By the end. Regardless of what you do. Occasionally you do, like, flashbacks where you go through Johnny's memories, and, like, one of the important characters that you meet, it, like, gives a little more perspective on them, and Johnny too, of course, but, like, they're not too important. They didn't have to be there, but they were good power fantasies because you weren't playing your character anymore, so they just made you really OP regardless of the difficulty you're in. I was playing on hard, so it was a very nice break to just, like one-shot heads off with his freaking custom-made revolver, which you eventually get. Geez, did I mention that there's alternatives to the cyber deck? I didn't, because I like the cyber deck, but, like, you can do, like, a slow-mo mode, which you can get perks for to make it go all cool, or you can get, like, a berserk mode. Johnny has the slow-mo mode, he doesn't hack. So, like, that was also a cool break from how I was playing the game, I guess. So, like, that was all cool. Like, I liked playing Keanu Reeves as my best friend's simulator. But, like, as far as the story itself goes, there's not a ton of, like, missions. You can probably get through it relatively quickly if you just rush them. However, it's unclear which of the yellow map markers are actually story missions, which are like more side questy things.
Is this enough?
A nice sum.
What do you say to...
A nice sum.
I'll go
And like because of that, it all feels very disjointed. And like most of the things that you pursue come up as dead ends anyways, which is kind of bullshit. And like
Handy implements and machines.
by the time you get to the final mission, it's still like a suicide mission, and there's like you're not even entirely sure what you're doing is going to help you at all. In fact, the bad ending is the only reasonable seeming choice in my opinion.
What else you, sir?
You don't even run into all of like the I don't know, like all the cool developed characters. Some of them just come from the more side questy ones. That one's out. Ugh. Like Detective River Ward, that was a whole side quest thing. And I thought he was a really cool detective man, because you know I like detectives.
Good luck to you.
He's of course romanceable. I forgot to mention that like what happens post-sex scene where things usually end. Now the character will still like flirt with you over text occasionally. He'll give you phone calls. He might send you some nudes. He or she. I think there's 4, though I'm not entirely sure about Takamura, because I let him die. Jeez. Another thing, I would consider it like a bug maybe, but it's not. There's a mission where like shit goes sideways with him, and like you can optionally save him, but the game basically tells you he's dead, run, don't look for him. And when you go for the bad ending, if you didn't save him, you won't get an achievement for it. Which is kind of bullshit. Allegedly, he doesn't even do anything after that point in the game, but I think he is maybe someone you can date, question mark. Otherwise, it's River, Judy, and Pan Am. Judy's gay. Pan Am is straight. Which is sad, because we were, like, definitely, like, vibing on Nomad shit the whole time. And she's also really hot, and, like, yeah. Full-bodied babe, like, full dreadlock hair.
Why not?
Not messy. Mechanic with like a supercar with guns and shit.
Satisfied?
A nice sum.
And she's like kind of bossy, which you know is my thing.
Aye.
And yeah, if I had a choice, I would have picked Pan Am, but she was straight, and so it wasn't meant to be. So I went with both of the other two because, you know, fluid relationships are cool. Nobody minds in the future, right? No. No, I just didn't care. I just won both. Other cat wants out.
Implements, instruments, everything for work and home.
Right, I'm talking about them because it obviously plays into your endings as well. Like, you get little phone calls in the post-credit scenes from all these people, and,
Alishka.
That's it.
see, with Judy, things either work out, or they don't, or you're dead, or and she misses you, or whatever, and, honestly, it's, like, heart-wrenching no matter what happens with her. It's really sad. And her voice actor gives a good performance, too, so that's good. River, though, he's a cold-hearted son of a bitch, always trying to play it cool, and, like, I didn't feel like he missed me or anything. Like, I was like, what the fuck? Didn't you love me? How dare you? Even when I killed myself, he was just like, oh, suicide, huh? Didn't see it coming. Meanwhile, Judy's, like, bawling her fucking eyes out. She looks like she's losing her goddamn mind because everyone else in her life has died, too. And Pan Am has, like, a whole ending route you can go through, which you can still go through if you aren't with her, but I think adds, like, a much more romantic flair when you ride off into the sunset with her at the end. Leave the city behind in search of someone who can actually help you, because your whole plan kind of fell apart with her in that end. Move. Crap, I should have sold that bow. Oh well. Put those away. The rest of my shit's still on the horse. Oops. Once I put in this, the plate. And, ash longbow. Alright, so...
Hey, lad! Don't you want a little wager on the rat-aid?
Another thing about the story feeling all disjointed, you're like told from the beginning you have roughly a month to get the thing out of you before you're damaged beyond repair, and like the game just doesn't give you an actual time limit. You're free to go dig off for however many days you want. The timer only seems to matter when you make story progress and it tells you that it matters again. Which is shitty. I don't know what I want to do right now. Ride off to Ledechko, that would be making story progress. There has to be... I can go hunting, that's what I'll do. I'll go get that venison, because we're still talking. I don't want to, like, interrupt it with dialogue and stuff. Ears all the way up here. BGG's. Right, so, like, I guess I'm okay with the timer not being a thing, but I wish that it was, because time passes realistically slow in the game. Like, it's not scaled up. Days last a very, very long time. And sometimes even quests just come up after a certain amount of days have passed, or a couple days after you've done a certain quest. So, like, time is a thing. It feels real in that sense. I feel like you maybe could have beaten the game in under a month of in-game time if I wasn't encouraged to sleep constantly to gain XP bonuses, but that's besides the point. I feel like you should have maybe spent more time with Jackie. Like, after you meet him in your prologue, you get ready for the big mission, the big heist, where he... Now, he dies. It happens early in the game. That's hardly even a spoiler, because, like, this is hypothetically your first couple hours playing. there are side quests to do. You can dig around the whole Watson section of the map and do all the side quests there before going on the heist, but you can go right into it after the prologue too if you want. I went and did side quests first because I just wanted to, but I feel like I maybe should have waited, because when you have Johnny with you, he can talk to you during the side quests, and like I probably missed a lot of dialogue by doing all that crap first.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jackie dies, and like it's supposed to be a sad moment, but like all I had was meeting him, a montage of us becoming friends, and then like he died. I'm like, I'm supposed to care? And like, what's interesting about that is later on I did start to care, because he was like the only good person in Night City, seemingly. Or they're very few and far between. Obviously, the people you romance are good people too, but like, it's just such a gross place, man. And like, sometimes it brings him up like he's important, the game remembers he exists, but then most of the time it feels like the game forgot he exists. Like, you don't even go check on his mom, you give her one phone call and that's it. And like, part of that could be like your personality being overwritten if you want to give the developers more credit than they should, than they deserve, but like, I don't know, I feel like there's just a lot more that could have been done with them. And occasionally you do have companions with you on missions, so it would have been nice if, you know, any of the other people could like partner up with you, but they can't. You're always on your own, which is shitty.
Yeah.
Though, again, if you want to look at that from a narrative perspective, maybe you don't want another close friend to get hurt doing a job that you took on because you're cocky or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a series of disjointed missions until you finally get to an end to solve your problem. And the ends are all very interesting. Except for Pan Am's. I basically told you what happens. Like, you guys go raid the big place, but you all go to the same place, but you take different routes there, so, like, the mission itself is different each time. And you all fight the same boss at the end, Adam Smasher, who's, like, this borged out, almost completely robot man with human head. Which, I don't know, it has to, the name has to be a reference to something, because there was another game I played called Adam Zombie Smasher, and that was, like, the big thing that happened at the end. The president's, like, a head in the jar, like in Futurama, and he puts himself on, like, a fucking mechanized weapon body to fight all the zombies. I don't know, this has to be, like, a Grindhouse Comics thing or whatever. I just don't know, but I don't know. Adam Smasher's an asshole. He's another guy I always killed, even though you have the option to spare him. Hold on. Grave here I want to dig up. But he's always the final boss, and seemingly there's no real motivation in it for you other than, like, it's his job. He's in your way. But when you're doing the Johnny route, it's, like, more personal for him, and I like that. So Pan Am's route, you just go in, you raid, most of her nomad family gets fucked up or seriously injured or is completely dead. It's very tragic, very tragic. And you don't even get, like, a proper end to your whole situation. You're still gonna die in 6 months because your DNA has been irreparably changed. And you go leave Night City and look for help elsewhere. That's your end. You spend whatever time you have with her, leave everyone else behind, and your whole journey was fucking pointless. But there's hope to it. As opposed to the other ones where there is no hope. Obviously the one where you kill yourself, you just kill yourself and you don't do a final mission, you get some very sad phone calls. And, like, I don't know, some people are just like, you're fucking wrong, what'd you do? You didn't even try to fight? They're like, some people are very pissed, others are just sad that you're gone. And I don't know, that's probably a very normal split of reactions for what would happen if you actually killed yourself. What I thought was interesting is that you got Johnny to accept that, like, he's cool with you doing it. And, you know, it was like a very buddy-buddy, ending it on your own terms kind of deal. Because, again, you're completely unsure if the final mission's actually going to help you or not. And there's the bad ending, per se, where you just team up with Arasaka. You help Hanako take over the company again, because the inciting incident is that, like, her brother, Yorinobu, who's a ganger, decides to rejoin the family, and he ends up killing the CEO, their father, and he takes over the company, starts doing other fuck shit. And, I don't know, you just put her in charge of the company, and her reward is that she's gonna help put her science team on you and try to figure out how to get the shit out of you. And they do that. They hold up their end of the deal. You do a completely unique mission. You don't fight Smasher in that one, actually. I don't think you do, at least. I don't remember it. No, you do. You do. I don't know. You go to a completely different level, though. And then you end up in, like, a space hospital where they do extract the chip and they put you through, like, a dramatic series of tests and stuff. It's actually a fun sequence. Very depressing. And that ultimately culminates in them saying, yeah, we can't help you. You're gonna die in 6 months, just like before. Like, that's a permanent issue with your character now. And you can either go back home, which they make it unclear if they actually let you go back home. They might have just kept you a secret to keep this massive design flaw in the project that they're trying to ship from going public, possibly. Or you can agree to have your psyche digitized until they find a solution to give you a new body and bring you out into the world again, which may or may not ever happen. It's a very difficult thing for them to figure out. Also, they don't owe you shit. Like, they don't have to put you in anywhere after you're digitized. Like, you're out of their way. You didn't pay. You didn't pay like all the celebrities did. Yeah, we're looking for deer. Probably equip a hunting arrow too. You just kind of fall off the grid post-credits. Everybody's like, where the fuck are you? Are you ever coming back? We miss you. We hope you're doing good. Did you get your thing taken care of and just leave? Like, nobody knows what happened to you. It's kind of messed up. And there's obviously, like, the cool implications of this whole idea of putting your psyche onto a flash drive and uploading it into another body at some point in time. And that being like a marketable service. Like, your character says they feel very empty without the Johnny, and again, you're like 60% Johnny when you get it removed by the end, so like, existential dread coming from that aspect. You're literally only 40% of who you used to be. And that's messed up even if you did get to live. I don't know, I think that end had like the most existential dread elements to it. It was just a fun sequence of events, though ultimately very sad. And you have multiple of your friends telling you that you fucking chose wrong, especially Johnny, who just never would have sided with the corporation, but they make it very clear to you that it was the bad end. And I also didn't get an achievement for it, which I was pissed about. And the other main mission, you take pills to accelerate the takeover and let Johnny control your body, because he is more you than you are you at that time. You give him full control and you let him call in his old friends who are still alive 50 years later. You get the whole gang back together and you do a cool mission. They give you like jet boots and stuff, so you don't even have to rely on cyber mods if you didn't afford them or whatever. And you just get to hear Keanu being a badass. And like, Rogue's whole character arc gets a better wrapper on it than with the other situations. Again, you have a reason to fight Smasher is probably my favorite route you could have gone down. It has the two best endings in it as well. Though realistically, I probably would have picked the one where I just fucking ditch Night City with Pan Am. Like, I would have even done that after the fact, but it's just not an option. That deer has an arrow in it, so I did land the hit. Gotta stick on him. Don't lose him. Alright. I only need 40 units, so we're gonna put the rest of that back. Get 13 more. So he has, like, the funnest final mission. It's very action-packed. It feels like you're watching a fucking Keanu Reeves movie. You successfully dismantled the corporation, which was, like, Johnny's whole dream. He could die happy even if you don't have... He'd die happy even though he has to get erased now. Like, his whole deal is over. That was his whole goal as a rock star. Spread the message of corporate hate in the year 2013. Or 2017, I guess. He was also kind of a terrorist. I forgot to mention that. Like, yeah, he was, like, basically Kurt Cobain as a musician, but he also, like, legitimately took guns and nukes and stuff and fought the corpse. And he was also on a constant fucking drug and alcohol bender, and, like, you feel really gross in the Johnny sequences if that's not your thing. Especially when you let him take over your body a few times, he just, like, goes and wrecks it. Yeah, you somehow get shit done, and, like, I kind of respect that, to be honest. it seems like he's just dicking around, but he actually ends up getting information or whatever he's trying to do by partying all day. Right, his whole deal gets wrapped up whether he takes over your body or not. Like, that's a good bow on his story. Which is why I feel like this is the best route you could have gone down. Just trusting Johnny. And your plan kind of works out. Again, you've got the whole 6 months death thing looming over your head, but at least you're free to do whatever you want, and you have successfully become a legend. Like, V has achieved her dream as well. His or her. And those are your two outcomes there. You either let Johnny take over, now that you know that V can't live, but Johnny could, hypothetically. And, like, you're on good terms at this point in time also. Or you can give them their life back and let V try to figure out what's going on. What they want to do with the rest of their 6 months. So, if you give your body back, that's it. You just become a legend, you're the best merc in the world, and you're going off to do a heist in space. That's where things cut off. I gave Judy the final phone call, so she's the one who woke up in bed with me, and she's, like, leaving me because she just can't take that I'm gonna fucking die and I'm just being fucking reckless my whole life, not spending time with her. So, that's sad. Again, I said, like, even when it works out, it's fucking sad with Judy. But I don't know. V achieved their dreams, so, like, there's that to be happy about. But I still think that that's, like, a hopeless thing. You're just being reckless. Johnny's ending, though, he's, like, a different man. You taught him so much. You changed who he was. He quit smoking. He's, like, mentoring a new kid to be a musician who's gonna change the world, probably. Buys him a fancy, good guitar. He says that he's gonna not be a woman for much longer, because he's gonna try and repurpose your body to be Johnny again, I guess. Leaves the city, because it always fucking disgusted him, and he took down Arasaka, so he's happy about that. I don't know, he gets a second chance at life, he's a different person, he's a better person. And, like, it's not a waste of a body, because that one isn't gonna die in 6 months with him in it. And overall, that's probably, like, the best outcome there could have been. Even if it is shitty that your character has to die. However, like... the meta-commentary element of this all is that, like, it's not even your character. V has a past that they don't talk to anybody about. And in a very similar way to Johnny invading your head, you, the player, are invading V's life as well, making choices for them that they maybe wouldn't have made themselves. And, like, the whole last sequence is, like, an out-of-body thing where you're talking to V's engram as well as Johnny's. Engram is the word for the digitized psyche. And, like, you know, you don't control what they're saying either, and that's... in that time, it feels like they're different from who I was playing the whole time. That's because they were. They're their own person, and you know nothing about them. And in that sense, they're not very likable at all. There is one mission where they do open up briefly, because you go to, like, a place where you buy a hooker, essentially, and they are programmed to be whatever you want. And what you want was not sex, but someone to talk to. And that's, like, the only time the character's vulnerable and you learn anything about who they were.
How are you?
Also, who they were has been erased over the course of the game, so it kind of doesn't matter to begin with.
I've got that game meat for you.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Henry. We'll get lots of supplies for this. I've got another order for you. The butcher was boasting in the tavern how he makes the best boar meat and the wild mushroom sauce, and the locals want him to prove it.
So I'm to bag a wild boar?
Yes. And while you're in the woods, you could pick a few mushrooms, too.
Next thing, they'll want me to cook it, too.
Just boar meat. I'm gonna sell these cabbages back and buy more cabbage, because by the time I wake up, it's probably gonna be too rotten to eat. And we'll go do an actual quest, because we're almost done talking. So yeah, I guess the losing their body ending is probably my favorite. I think it's probably the best outcome. But it's also kind of tragic. However, I didn't care too much about the character I was playing, because they didn't want me to care about him. The only way to survive in the city is to put on a mask and look like a hard ass and like not show any emotion. And like you're also a mercenary, so that's kind of what you're expected to be. But like it didn't endear them to me the same way that Johnny did, where you grew to like him, or you at least became less of an asshole over the course of the game. I feel like I was only supposed to care about getting their body back on the principle of it's yours. Damn. The poison. Yeah, I'm just gonna put some of this stuff away, I guess. My nourishment. And buying more cabbages.
Can we do something?
Naturally.
Agree?
A nice sum. All right.
God, I hate when I lose my train of thought because I'm like cutting stuff out, but I think that's all there is to say about the ends. You also get like unique rewards for completing all of them, and then you can load back into the game and go through the whole end sequence again to get more rewards. And it's obviously supposed to leave you room to come back and play DLC when it's made, but there is no DLC at the moment. It's being made like 3 years later because they had to spend that long fixing the game. But I don't know, I think that I've had enough at like 90 hours. I don't want to play more, especially at the level cap, but like it was a fun ride. And again, like the writing was fantastic when it was there, though most of the shit in the overworld was just like bland side content that gave you unmeaningful upgrades and like just random fucking Diablo loot. The variety of shit you get is not nearly as wide as it was in The Witcher 3. Side content overall is just less meaningful feeling. But like what they intended you to enjoy is very enjoyable. And there's just like a lot of interesting concepts to talk about. Even though I failed to bring some of them up because we spent so long talking about it. that's it, I guess. I very much enjoyed my time with it. Would I go back and play it again? Probably not for a very, very long time. It was a long game. Definitely not going to touch it for like somewhere north of 2 years, maybe even more. But I'm definitely going to remember it. I'll look back fondly on it. Unlike the people who bought it day one, they're probably still resentful. Maybe never touch it again with a 10-foot pole. Ah, I pigged out. Lost my buff. Dog. And that was a long-ass conversation. Looks like we went like roughly 2 hours just talking about the game. There's still probably more we could cover if we wanted to. And overall, solid recommend. Somewhere between a 7 and an 8, like critically. But definitely like an interesting thing to discuss among other people who enjoyed it. Sadly, it's going to be rare to find someone who enjoyed it, because they got burned on it so quick when the hype train absolutely crashed. I guess we can touch on that a bit, too. Why was everyone so hyped, man? Like, I thought we were getting another Deus Ex game, basically, and that's exactly what we got. And then, like, what, the date was announced in 2013. Like, very long time ago. It's obviously a very different game from what they were pitching then. We're gonna read until Teresa wakes up because we want to talk to her. And like, yeah, I know The Witcher 3 was great, but that's like, you can't let pedigree determine whether or not you should pre-order a product made by a team who hasn't made a first-person shooter ever. They made a third-person fantasy action RPG, and like they're making something completely different from that. And you're trusting them to make it good. Like, yeah, the writing's gonna be good. Obviously, you can trust them on that end, but that's it. And they held up on that end. Needs a key. Or, no, this one. St. Nicholas. Oh. I don't get how the big incident happened, and obviously it shouldn't have came out in the state it did, and obviously they shouldn't have lied to us with scripted gameplay instead of raw gameplay. And they definitely like bit off more than they could chew in the graphics department, and that made things much, much worse for them. But like, small studio, never made anything like it before. I think that they fucking nailed it in terms of making a new IP. New type of game. Like, they made a fully functioning thing eventually. And the writing was amazing. The world they put together is fully realized. I don't think there was any false advertising on their end aside from the scripted gameplay things, which are very common. You have to sue the games industry as a whole for that.
Hey, lad! Don't you want a little wager on the rat-aid tourney?
I don't know, it's like, y'all were dumb for trusting him to do that. Like, I like The Witcher. I don't consider myself loyal to the company because they've made like 3 fucking games.
Greetings, Henry.
That's the Woman's Lot DLC. We're not doing that just yet, but we are doing the courtship quest. Time for Henry to become a man.
What's that dog you have here? He looks familiar.
Don't you remember him? It's Mart, the butcher's dog from Skalitz.
Ah, of course. When I went back to bury my parents...
Is this how we get the dog? I just had to talk to her?
A faithful dog. How come he's here?
When we carted you here, we took Mutt along too. He's been hanging around the mill ever since.
I should think
What
about
does the
it.
miller have to say about it?
He can't stand him.
I thought he's a loud fucker.
Every time he sees him, he starts shouting that he's a useless mouth to feed and that he'll skin him.
Jesus.
He doesn't even have a
And it didn't
name.
even soften his heart when Mutt brought a hare from the woods. He was happy to eat it, but it didn't change his mind.
I could have a word with him.
That would be a waste of time.
Obedient.
Does he obey you?
Me? Not much. He's got a mind of his own, and I'm just not strict enough.
Ah, spoilt then.
No, he just hasn't learned many commands. But he's well able to beg for a piece of meat.
How's he doing?
A lot better now. I slipped him something good now and again when Uncle wasn't looking.
He won't starve to death then. How long has he been with you?
More or less since we came here. He runs off now and again, but he always comes back. Sometimes I don't see him all day. I think he likes to go wandering.
So he's doing quite well then?
Yeah. I'd keep him, but he reminds me too much of Tinker, you know? I don't want to think about Skalitz. So I thought maybe you might take him with you?
Me?
Yes.
I'm
Give me
sure
dog.
the two of you would get on great. He's a handsome fella and lovable. I'd be very happy if you had him.
But we never had a dog at the smithy. We never needed one.
Come on. He's got no one.
Come on, everybody needs a friend, Henry.
Alright. I'll take him. He can keep me company on my travels.
Thanks, Henry. Go and get him then. He's sniffing around somewhere here.
It was that easy to get the dog. I would have grabbed him a long time ago. Shit, I had no idea. That's probably why he doesn't have a name. I'm probably gonna be able to name him. So they said his name was Mutt. Like, I don't know why he doesn't, he's not already labeled Mutt. And I feel kind of messed up changing an animal's name if he went for so long with that name,
Hey, Mutt. Remember me? From Skalitz, remember?
Skalitz!
You want to go with me? Come on then. We'll get on like a house on fire. Follow me.
Dog. From this moment on, you have a canine companion. He's your best friend who will protect and help you. This is wonderful. But you must take good care of him. You can talk to him, feed him, ideally with me, give him commands, and reward him with praise. Oh, so I have a better reason to hunt now. With the cursor, you can give him all sorts of commands. Using hold X, e.g. heal. Heal as in, like, sit, or... you have a new skill of Hound Master. It determines how well your dog is trained and what commands you've taught him. You gain experience by using the commands and other interactions with your four-legged friend. Okay. In the Sidekicks tab, you can see the stats. The most important one is Obedience. It tells you whether your dog obeys you or not. Its level will keep falling with every injury. Also, if you neglect your dog for a long time, fucked up. I just want the dog. I don't want to take care of him. He's not a fucking Tamagotchi. If obedience falls too low, your dog will stop heeding some of your commands. If it falls to 0, the dog will run off, and it will take time before he comes back to you. During that time, you won't be able to give him commands. The higher his obedience, the better stats the dog has. He will defend himself and you better. Does greater damage to foes, and will take longer before he decides to run off again. You can improve your dog's obedience mainly by feeding and praising him, but doing it several times in succession over a short period will be less effective than feeding and praising him regularly. Okay, so, like, do I have to actually feed him, or is it like a supplement for praise? Dog can sniff out enemies when they're out of sight. If you take good care of your dog and are experienced sound, identify foes at a great distance. Okay, obedience. Go in that current command. Head armor, body armor, health, capacity, speed, courage, obedience. Oh, I see, that's pebbles. Dog armor, dog damage. Damn, he does 20 damage, dude. He's like a club. Obedience is 0. That's fair. I don't get equipment for doggo? Oh well.
Good fella.
Hey, lad. Don't you want a little wager
That's
on
my
the
boy.
ratte tourney?
Here. Heel.
I think that just means wait.
Come along, free. Look what I've got for you. You'll love this.
I can only call him a good boy. I don't get to pet him.
That's a good boy. That's my boy.
Alright, we got a dog. I wanted to keep talking to Teresa, though. Oh wait, she's got a quest marker on her anyway. In the house, she sure is.
Hey, lad.
Are you cleaning?
You're on the ratte tourney.
Life material.
Have you got a moment? I'd like to ask a few questions about Skalitz. I don't remember much.
All right. What do you want to know?
How did you get me away from Skalitz?
It wasn't easy. So Robard and his men helped load you on a wagon and we harnessed an old nag the bandits had left behind. The soldiers escorted us all the way here, God bless them.
What about the bandits?
So Robard and his men routed them. They killed the few, but the giant who attacked you fled, and Zibashek with him. It won't be safe in Skalitz for a while yet.
Why would Zbyszek do that? I never thought much of him, but banditry?
He was always a nasty piece of work. Doesn't surprise me he joined them. If you knew what he did to me.
Tell me.
When those humans, they call them, when the humans came, Zbyszek pushed me out in front of them and fled. He sacrificed me to save his own hide.
Oh, thank God. I thought she's gonna say they fondled her or something horrible.
Where's the sword I had?
You had a sword? It's gone now. Those scum took everything, including your horse.
I don't give a damn about the horse. I stole it anyway. But my father forged that sword for Sir Radzig. I promised Father I'd take it to him. I have to get it back.
Well, you can't. Just be thankful you're still alive.
I'm getting that sword back, woman. The last thing I do.
What happened to the other survivors from Skalitz?
They sought refuge in Ratay, and some of the Ratay folk are none too happy about it.
And Matthew, Fritz and Matthias? Johanka? Did they make it?
They're alive. I heard Matthias is at the stud farm in Merhojed. Johanka is in Sasau, and Fritz and Matthew, well, you know them. They're up to no good somewhere. The only trouble they'll be in is of their own making.
What about Sir Radzig?
Sir Hanush, he's the Lord of Ratay. He gave his lower castle to Sir Radzig, a place called Perkstein. Sir Hanush lives at the upper castle. The Skalitz folk have made camp in front of it.
How did you get away from those Cumans?
You're wrong. If it hadn't been for you... When they came to the mill, they slaughtered everyone. And kept me for last. After you distracted them, I fled to the mines to find my brother, but he... My brother was dead, but I owe my life and more to you.
And I owe mine to you. The scales are balanced.
A balance.
I won't trouble you anymore.
Right, that wasn't the conversation we're trying to have. Probably this one. Oh, yeah, you can buy her clothes and stuff. I don't know if she puts them on, but, like, that's the reason women's dresses are in the game. And flowers, too, I think.
So,
everybody likes flowers.
I can't stop thinking about Skalitz.
I know. It was hell. But life has to go on. Why not clear your head and try to forget about it? At least for now.
What do you mean?
Do you feel like a walk?
That's not a bad idea. And where would you care to go?
Let me take you to the tavern where I talk to other women. Let me take you to a place where they murder people. A stroll along the river.
What if we took a stroll along the river?
Why not? That sounds lovely.
It does sound lovely.
Let's go.
Game saved. RP walking, holy shit. Busy gaming.
That was a good idea to go for a walk. Not that I don't like the mill, but you get tired of it. So I'm glad you took me out.
Uh-huh.
I'd love to see the markets in Prague one day. Have you ever been to Prague?
No, I haven't. I have been in Kuttenberg, but Prague must be much bigger.
I've heard it's pretty smelly, though.
Yeah, so many people in one place. So many assholes.
Did he still smell like shit? Not much you can do about
I'd love
it.
to listen to that young preacher, Jan Hus. They say he preaches in the common tongue. Everyone's talking about it.
I bet he's just handsome. That's why the women dote on him.
You're a right one. A preacher doesn't need good looks for people to listen to him.
And what about that
Sure
fellow
helps.
at St. James? I know full well why all the girls have started going to confession, and you have too, so don't give me any of that.
You scoundrel. Well, all right. I admit I find him handsome. But that doesn't make me a bad Christian.
I'd never dare to suggest such a thing.
Tell you what. Let's not dawdle.
Oh no.
Last one is a slimy slug.
Slimy slug. Am I supposed to let her win or not? Damn it, woman. He's actually in better shape than me. I know you're normally supposed to let the girl win, the prize or whatever, but like, I'm the man. She needs to depend on me. Can she really let her win a race? She has more stamina? I don't think so. It's not attractive. I need to be the alpha. She's kind of an alpha girl. She did save my life, but like, that's still not the social climate we live in.
That was fun. Sit down here next to me, Hal.
Told me Hal. It's a big deal. Only people like you call you Hal. Everyone else says I'm Henry. My Christian name.
And what about you? I heard you're helping Sir Radzig.
Sir Radzig has me running a few errands. I have to say, he always treats me well, and I make a wage.
So you've had your turn of luck. What's it like serving nobility?
It's like being a slave.
I don't know. I suppose it's a job like any other.
Of course. I'm sure it's no different than being a charcoal burner. You'll have to try harder than that.
I do get plenty dirty. Oh, they're blushing.
Now then.
Oh, Henry, what am I going to do with you? Wandering the land, turning innocent girls' heads.
Hope your knees didn't buckle. Such a Chad line. Have my hands full of my duties. Yeah, okay, you fucking brick. And one here, his head is all messed up as me. Well, that's sad. No? Just intimidate her? Nah.
What? I hope your knees didn't buckle too.
You rascal. You know what? Ask me another time.
Another time?
The next time you come to see me. You will come and see me again, won't you?
I don't know. I am awfully busy.
Don't look desperate, Henry.
Well, if you do find the time, I'll be glad to see you. But now I have to go.
Can I go with you?
Yeah,
Just
okay.
a little way. I don't want anyone to gossip.
I must ask her out. This is important. Alright, well in a few days we can continue that quest. Well then, we've got other stuff to do. That's all the way in Skalitz. Fight Milan again, but why would I? Rob the rich kid's poor. Dechko merchant. Alright, we don't need to worry about that at the moment. Don't need to worry about that. Vengeance. Right, we don't need to worry about that really either. I guess we're going to Ledechko. We gotta seal the steel as well as finding Riki. Looks like there's a quest giver on this map. What's up with that? Who is he? He could be pointing out Teresa, but I think it's someone else. Ashik? No, I'm on a quest for him currently.
Oh, God almighty! Can't you see there's people here? That horse of yours nearly trampled me to death.
Why are you walking from my horse? Alright, Ledechko. Now we on time, right? We're at like 3:20, yeah? Yeah? Alright, we will steal the seal, and then we're gonna be on like... We're gonna be hunting down a man again, so... That we'll save for next time, probably.
Yeah.
Alright, wasted so long doing that treasure hunt, but that map was really misleading. I hope I sufficiently explained that. Between the two diagrams.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have all these levels to spend. I just didn't do that this whole time. Like vitality, Berserk. As soon as your health falls to a minimum, you go Berserk. Stamina regenerates 4 times faster. That's pretty cool. You're beating your first opponent. Power with attacks increases for a while, and your stamina. Get fucked up or fuck up. What I'm saying. Horsemanship. You get 15% damage bonus in mounted combat with both ranged and melee weapons. That's pretty cool. Increased chance of staying in saddle when an opponent tries to undo. That's probably better. Like, you can't even really do ranged combat with you saddled. Strong thighs. Crush a watermelon they can. All books are cheaper. First time you look at a fresco, cross, or wayside shrine, you get a temporary stamina buff. And that's neat and all, but like the first time, how many first times are there in the game? You know what I'm saying? Magistrate, being well learned, you make a better impression on people and get a speech bonus from trying to persuade a guard. And why not? And cheaper books is cool and all, but like kind of useless. Like there's anything keeping me from getting money.
Yeah.
I don't need this map marker to be here anymore. Kind of bugging me.
Yeah.
Right, we've made it to the small river village of Ledechko. Looking for one Riki. We're also trying to steal a merchant guild seal or something. Should be easy enough, it's just a pickpocket mission. If I recall correctly, this guy might also have a piece of the Queen of Shiva sword, I think it's called. Which is just a strong sword. You It comes in pieces, obviously. There's a quest to collect all the pieces, and you get a good sword out of it. I don't think it's the best sword or anything. It's kind of hard to get all the pieces, but like, the diversion, if you're interested in that kind of thing. Could have some sentimental value. Ah, he has a guard. Well.
What do you want? You have no business here.
I'm sorry.
Jesus!
Oh, I must be closing up shop.
There's nothing here for you. What are you doing here? What's it to be?
Maybe he just, like, kicked me out of the building after I went into one of the rooms. Gave me a temp ban.
Who's there?
Is there something you need?
Yeah, you turn around, boy. Need you to learn who's in charge, boy.
What the? You thieving man! I see a thief! Ah!
Need you to die, boy.
You there! Stop! Hey, you! Halt!
Surrender!
You know, this is a good.
Answer for your law breaking.
I don't intend to keep this save, but it's a good test to see how strong you've gotten. Except we're not in armor.
You'll pay for that.
And we're kind of dying now. And yeah. Yeah. Okay, so obviously waiting until night and the shop closes and I don't have to worry about the guard is the best answer. But maybe I can do some scum shit, like hiding behind his counter.
Hey!
Hey!
Got bellyache, have you? That's nasty.
It's nasty. I like the little icon for the chameleon. Or is that just light armor? The guy going like, yo! If I hid in this room...
Be off now. You don't belong here.
Perfect. Now I knock him out. I knock him out.
Do something! My God! Over
F.
there!
Give up?
Oh! Here's the whole freaking town.
Hey, you! Halt!
Bugger!
Surrender!
You there!
You committed the crime.
Yeah.
Arresting you.
Hey, you! Don't...
Ale do predele!
You!
Surrender now. Hear me?
Don't move a finger. Hey, you! Don't move a
I won't
finger.
repeat it again.
You! Stop! Where you are.
This is hilarious. I just keep getting punches. We have a plan. So I can either execute that quicker, or maybe I actually have him ignore me once I close the door, and I can actually sneak up behind him and do it properly. Otherwise, we can just knock him out like that. And I just have to be quicker to do it. Or been running in before he gets in here and like open this door. And he hasn't a clue.
Be quick about it. Help! Over there!
Help! Oh no! Maybe I could have just done it without even closing the door, because we obviously messed that up. Yeah. And obviously waiting until nightfall would be the correct thing to do, but this is funnier. I don't know why it didn't load. Like you heard the click sounds, the drum. Whoop-a-boo. Said whoop-a-boo.
Who are you? Well?
Hello? I'm inside him.
Help!
Damn
Over
it.
there!
Okay, I appreciate that it's like a feature that you can phase through people if they're in your way, but like that totally fucked me over right there.
What's with you? Do something! My God! Over there!
Damn it all. Okay, now what if I knocked out the guard? If I knock him out, I'll have no trouble knocking the other guy out. Oh, he's got his back against the wall. Smart man, smart man.
Well?
Oh, now that worked, that was kind of cool, right? Like, I gave him the slip and I was hiding right behind the door as soon as he walked in. Grabbed him, choked him out. All very cinematic. John Wick shit. Ah. Right.
What?
I'm leaving, I'm
what are you doing
leaving.
Hey.
Okay, cool, cool.
Yeah.
This isn't that far of a ride, so I'm actually just gonna go back to Peshek and, what's his face? Vagabond. Turn these in, and then we'll be good. Original thought was that I was gonna do that, and then I'd just make another save in Ledechko. But now I have shit to sell because I stole more than I thought I would. And also, we already used the savior schnapps, and it'd be ashamed to make 2 saves right in front of each other like that. So yeah, I knocked that man the fuck out, and I'm not ashamed of it. Henry of Scouts, 2022.
Yeah.
Bested him handedly. I think it's best to get all your thieving and stuff out of the way early too, because it's much easier to lose reputation than it is to gain it.
Yeah.
So like, whatever gains you can get from doing main quests and stuff like that will help you recover from whatever negatives you have currently.
Yeah. Heyo.
Ooh.
Greeting.
What am I to do?
Buying and... Not that I...
So if someone...
That's the...
That was the wrong one. Sell.
Got some goods.
Stolen
All right.
goods.
Good luck then.
They're just armor, right? Little coif and reading choices. Are they trousers, maybe? No, there's no R. I don't feel like choices is like the right way to pronounce it though.
Can we do something about the price? Is this enough?
That's better. All right, so...
Argued over 1 coin, huh, Peshek?
Yeah.
Alright. That was actually the final quest for this vagabond guy anyways. So we get to feel like we wrapped up a whole plotline today. Even though I spent most of this hunting down 2 treasures and talking about Cyberpunk. Oh, we hunted too. It was relatively quick, but like we did some stuff. And like we look fly as fuck with this new Waffenfrock, honestly, like damn. Those red pants, digging them.
To heal, mutt.
So if it wasn't for the quest markers, you probably might not even find this guy because he's not around the camp anymore. He is in the stocks. He got caught for stealing, and you can't give your reward.
I've got that seal for you. But you look like you've taken a bit of grinding in the mills of God yourself.
True enough. I tried my luck and got caught. Sorry, lad, but I've nothing to give you for that seal. Try selling it to one of the millers. I'm sure you can get a tidy sum for it.
I better be on my way before someone sees me with you.
Good luck to you, lad. And don't get caught and end up like me. I'll try my luck in other parts.
See, that could be a lesson, like in morality, or it could be a challenge. I like that. The game also saved, which is pretty sweet, because now I don't have to sleep. And, I think that we're good. Yeah, we talked plenty. Honestly, the Cyberpunk discussion is maybe one of the longer things I've ever done, I think. Damn. It was good, though. It was good. Wish I had someone to someone else to talk to about that, because again, there's so much to talk about. Like, I think it's a great discussion piece, but nobody played it. And they reasonably didn't. But like, it's such a shame, really. That's about it. I'll see you guys in a week. Bye bye.